That's okay, that's fine. Just own up to it. And then we can stop pretending like we have anything in common anymore.
I
I
really
don't want to
didn't
hear
think...
about it, Taff. What happened to the old you? The real you?
I don't know what you're getting so upset about.
Because you don't know me.
Jesus, Annie, we had a really good time,
Oh
and now
my
you're being
God,
all...
bro.
So I had a chick flick marathon recently. It's a self-care depression thing. And while I was watching, trying to sit back and enjoy my evening, I hear this agitating, grating voice. As I watched, I couldn't help but wonder, why is this guy so mad? Now, the women in these films, whilst flawed, being human and all, are trying to navigate a chapter in their life which would be remarkably challenging for anyone. And then there's the love interest centering themselves whilst being a big, whiny baby. Yeah, someone had to say it. Now stop your noise before I give you something to cry about. As I said, these women aren't perfect, but there are certain moments where it's framed as if the main flaw is her ambition or desires. And like with romance plots, there comes a point where the lovers quarrel, which becomes catalyst for the main character to grow as a person so they can win their lover back. And I'm not saying there isn't growth to be had, but you can clearly see that there's a lack of grace and support for the woman in question. To kick this off, we'll start with a classic. You know it's a 2000s chick flick when you see Miss Bynes being nothing like the other girls. Honestly, growing up, it didn't matter what you put in front of me. If Miss Quirky Cat was in it, doing one of these, I was sat. In fact, I still am. Her movies feel like a time capsule of nostalgia that reminds me of a... Well, I wouldn't say simpler time. No. But they are nostalgic, and this one even has Colin Firth. Need I say more? What a Girl Wants is a teen coming-of-age comedy film that tells a story... Girl, your furs everywhere. Of an American-born teenager who goes to London all by herself to meet her father for the first time. She's lived in a flat above a restaurant all her life, and he, on the other hand, is a lord and is less than 50th in line from the throne. So, there's gonna be some kooky, goofy culture shock and, dare I say, tomfoolery. She meets this adorable singer along the way and they get on cutely.
It's just not as simple as I thought. Maybe I should just go home and let him get on with his life.
Daddy's running for Prime Minister at the moment, and at some point, her wild American shenanigans begin costing him his standing in the polls. So, to support her father and gain his favour, she tries to adapt into the debutante lifestyle. So, the conflict here is her man friend doesn't like the fact that she's not being herself.
What happened to the old you? The real you?
So he just completely blanks her. And don't get me wrong, I can understand his disdain for the lifestyle, especially having grown up in it himself. But he had the chance to decide it wasn't for him after some time. Meanwhile, she just got here and just met her father, who didn't even know she existed. And you think him being the sad boy musician type, he'd be more sensitive to her situation and, cut her some slack. Plus, it's clear that she doesn't enjoy this lifestyle. She's just trying to support her dad's campaign and build a relationship with him. She very well could have come to the decision that this life isn't for her, and between her and her dad, have found a compromise. He is very uppity, but not completely unreasonable. Sad boy, however, had to take this so personally, as if the real love story isn't between a girl and her dad. Because think about the classic tropes you see in rom-coms. You have the shopping montage. The grumpy softens for sunshine trope.
I think so. I mean, I can tell she gets lonely sometimes, but I think she's pretty content with who she is.
The classic miscommunication. Or the race for your love trope. Like, hello, Mr. Man, you were never the love interest. And I knew I was done with his character when he appeared after the reunion, and I could feel my tears reversing back into my eyeballs.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks! This guy stinks! Brother, this guy stinks!
This story follows a recent graduate and aspiring journalist, Andy. She's not well versed in the fashion industry, but somehow snags the highly coveted role as junior personal assistant to the editor-in-chief of Runway magazine, Miranda Priestley. Despite the prestige of the position, she faces quite a toxic working environment, but to prove herself fit for the role, she gives it her 200%, as she sees the job as a good jumping off point for her journalism career. She slowly begins to fit in and also transforms her look. And due to her work being very, very, very demanding, her social and love life are affected, as she basically has no free time. It's clear that the job is consuming her, and I can agree that it could very easily take over her life if left unchecked. But her boyfriend's outburst doesn't come from a place of concern and care. It almost appears as jealousy because she has a job she actually cares about. And this is my personal opinion. Like, calm down. But from the start, he was never happy for her. And when Miranda gives her an almost unattainable task, she confides in her boyfriend how stressed she is and considers giving up and quitting, which he is immediately happy about. Like, yes, the job sucks, but there's literally no encouragement or consolation for his girlfriend, who at this point would have essentially spent months suffering under Miranda's tyranny for nothing. But it turns out she was able to pull a few strings and not lose her job, and he's pissed.
Well, that's big of you.
And being condescending too. I could understand Nate being unhappy that she's basically on call 24/7, as we never know when she's gonna hear. But I get this impression that his gripe is 80% to do with her change of clothing. He basically thinks the corporate fashion girlies are vapid and only care about clothes and shoes, but you see, Andy isn't like the other girls, you know? She eats soup from a tray while standing and willingly leaves the house in the same kitchen clogs I had to wear at my fast food jobs. So when she gets a haircut, starts wearing heels and actually caring about work, Nate just cannot believe that she would do this to him. Even when they reconnect after their short break, spoiler, they break up. Andy at this point has stopped working for Miranda. His whole takeaway of the situation is that she did it for shoes and bags.
I wanted to say that you were right about everything. That I turned my back on my friends and my family and on everything I believed in. And for what?
For shoes and shirts and jackets.
Way to go, Nate. I mean, that is all women care about. Oh, and I'll also add that the whole thing of her being a deplorable person for going to Paris instead of Emily, miss me with that. She had already sacrificed precious time with family, friends, boyfriend, her sanity, peace, food. Yes, she lost weight whilst working there, and she should throw it all away for someone who would have done the same thing without a second thought. Like, don't get me wrong, she's still messy as hell, but also, Emily got hit by a car and was hospitalized. Like, was she going to bedazzle her cast or... Anyways, on to Bridesmaids. Annie is going through a tricky time.
Oh, delicious! Stupid cookie! Do you hang out, Lillian? She's my best friend. Oh yeah, I know we've only known each other for 5 minutes.
I feel fine.
She's not even pretty. I'm not doing it. I can't.
Help me, I'm poor. You're an old, single loser who's never gonna have any friends.
You're a little cunt.
Okay, a very tricky time. She had a bakery that she put all her money into, and it unfortunately went under.
Well, I'm the genius that opened a bakery during the recession.
In addition, her ex left her when the business went bust, so naturally it's a sore subject when brought up. Her bestie Lillian gets engaged, which she could have better pretended to be happy about.
They're swimming.
What does that
Stomach
mean?
hurts. I don't know, I'm hot.
Oh my god! What is happening?
I can't believe it.
Lil, you're getting married.
We're getting super fun.
It's gonna be really fun.
Yeah, we can.
She obviously has some complicated feelings as she feels kind of left behind, because while her bestie's life is seemingly going well, she feels stuck in a bad place. Regardless, she agrees to be the maid of honor. Aside from the rest of the bridal party being in a couple, she has to deal with her arch nemesis, bridesmaid Barbie. She's moving in on Lillian, even calling her her best friend. Her love interest, who is a cop, was a patron of her bakery before it closed down and encourages her to get back into it. She's visibly uncomfortable and shuts that down. After some other tomfoolery and no-flyless behavior, she confides in Kotbe, who again brings out Bacon, and she again says she doesn't do that anymore. It doesn't make her happy. And I will say that Kotbe is sweet for trying to get her back into Bacon, but it clearly isn't taking in how heartbreaking that time could have been for her, and how she might subconsciously associate the feelings of shame and hurt from that time to Bacon. Like, he's so one-track minded that the morning after their late night bow chicka bow, he goes for an early morning grocery run and surprises her with bacon products. Ta-da! I remember cringing so hard when I first watched this. I'm about to get a little real and sentimental, so come closer. I've also been in a situation where I stopped a hobby for quite a while due to trauma, and when people would ask, when are you doing this again? You were really good at it, which debatable. I'd get so flustered and quite annoyed, actually, triggered. I guess you could say, yeah, I was triggered. And do I wish I got back into it earlier? Absolutely. I tried several times, but the reality was I just wasn't ready, and at the time it wasn't making me happy. So yeah, back then, if someone was harping on about it, regardless of their good intentions, I'd be kind of pissed off. Like, leave me alone and let me be sad, for fuck's sake. But anyways, I'm glad that I didn't give up forever, because we wouldn't be here together right now. Yes, YouTube is what I was referring to. Back to Kotbe, who cannot read the room and presses her. She makes her exit.
You don't know anything about me or my life or...
Well, no, because...
I don't know what you're trying to do here. I don't need you to fix me or...
To fix you?
I don't need any help. I mean, who do you think you are?
Jesus, Annie, we had a really good time, and now you're being all...
It's my fault. I shouldn't have come here last night. Last night was a mistake.
Fucking hell, alright.
Okay, I've had my few crash outs, so I understand how she feels in the moment, but calling your time together a mistake is crazy. And again, I can completely understand why she's upset, but that's not nice. No. And then she makes the assumption that he was just into it for the sex, because that's the kind of guy she usually spends time with. Also not reading the room, like, he clearly likes you, but anyways, she has another awful day, gets uninvited from her bestie's wedding, rear-ended, and out of all the people in the world, Kotbe shows up and weirdly projects his feelings onto the collision she had.
Simple solution! Your problem, Annie, is that you just don't understand that you can hurt people! With these broken lights!
And then things get even more awkward when...
Boom! What's up, fuck buddy? Offer some roadside assistance?
So very awkward. Anyways, after a pep talk from a friend, she gains a little bubble of hope and bakes a cake for Kotbe to apologize. But he's blanking her because he is a big whiny baby. Eventually they get back together and it's all cutesy or whatever. I also wanted to make a dishonorable mention to the friend from Princess Diaries. No, she's not a love interest, but boy was she annoying. She gets pissed when Mia gets her makeover and overall just stinked as a friend. Like, P.U. Get the fuck out of here. In these movies, the romance is a subplot, as you find that the central relationships, the one that really drives the stories forward, are with other characters. Such as Daphne with her dad, Andy with her boss Miranda, Annie in her love triangle with her bestie and bitch. I can think of two other romance films with even more annoying love interests. The Notebook and Love and Basketball. Let me know in the comments if any others come to mind. Another thing that bugs me is that in these films, the men aren't framed to have problematic takes on what the protagonist desires. So I wonder what the implication is for women navigating particularly challenging chapters in their life. And if they happen to be romantic relationships, where their priorities should lie. What do you have to say about that, baby? I agree. Very profound. And if you made it this far, I'd like to thank you for your time. If you like these character archetype discussions, please give this a like. Until next time, where I will hopefully have a better outro. Bye!